In this video, I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can help scam baiters report money mule or scam victim bank accounts. Let's do this.
Why you have done such a thing?
Helping to educate people to avoid being scammed is at the heart of why I do what I do on the channel. So if at the end of the video you find the information helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could share it with someone you know or someone you care about. I often get private messages or emails saying, hey, a scammer gave me banking information, what do I do with it now? So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that you can do so that we can better inform financial institutions, the local and federal authorities when a scam is going down. Here are 5 ways to report scam bank accounts. First thing I like to do once I get a bank account information from a scammer is to alert the financial institution through Twitter. Most institutions have a Twitter account, and I find that they're fairly quick to respond to messages when you tell them that you have information regarding fraudulent activity or money mules happening through their bank. I'm providing this example of when I reported an account to a bank, and that I know it was effective in doing so because the victim then told me their bank was onto it after I had reported it to them. This is my go-to first and foremost because of my experience with how quickly they are in actually getting stuff done. If you don't have Twitter, the other option that you can do is to report directly to the bank through their hotlines. But before you call, make sure you gather all the information you can about the scam activity that's been going on. Doing this before you call helps make sure that the bank can act quickly. You also have to find the correct contact number. We all know calling the banks can feel like we're jumping through hoops, but the numbers may be different depending on whether the scam or fraud involves personal or business credit cards or debit cards or online banking. For example, Wells Fargo has different toll-free numbers depending on whether it's a personal or business account, but also specific to the product to which the suspected fraud applies. Most banks have a toll-free number that you can reach 24/7. One thing I've noticed is on the back of most debit cards, you'll see a phone number. You can call that. They're usually open 24/7. Worst case scenario, you call the general customer service line or go down to a branch itself and personally go speak to a bank employee. One of the most important things you can do is make sure you take lots of notes. Who you spoke to, what they said with regards to how they're going to counteract it, and a bunch of other stuff that could be pertinent to providing the bank with more information. If you wish, you can even send the bank a letter that summarizes all the activity and how you came across it, what happened, who you reported it to, what they said to you, the dates, all that kind of stuff. If you're a victim or if you're calling on behalf of a victim, one of the most important things you could do is to make sure that the cards that are linked to those bank accounts are canceled so that new ones could be issued right away. This is important because in the United States, federal law limits liability with regards to how soon the scam is reported. So for example, if you do it within 2 days, you're only liable for up to $50. But if you wait past 2 days, you could be liable for up to $500. Banks also have about 10 days to investigate all the activity that's been going on in the account, and they can restore the funds if they've been stolen. Another really important thing is for the victim or potential victim to review their bank account often to make sure that there isn't any fraudulent activity happening on the account, since obviously a scammer had the information. If this has happened to you or someone you know, you should call your local police department's non-emergency line and report the financial fraud. You can always go in person as well, or some police departments have online forms that you can fill out to be able to make a report. But as with reporting to the banks, make sure you have all the information so that you are very detailed with the information. Each state in the US and each province in Canada are different with what constitutes fraud. If you don't have any evidence that a crime was committed, most police departments will not investigate. Generally speaking, criminal fraud is theft by deception. So a person or a business must have intentionally given you false information to deceive you into giving your financial information to them so they could steal from you. When you submit a report, make sure it's very detailed and organized, and also request a copy of it for your records. You can also report the scam activity to the FBI, the FTC, and the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre through their online forms. The great thing about reporting to these agencies is that your complaint or report will get added to a nationwide database, which is then available to local, state, provincial, and federal authorities that investigate fraud and these types of crimes. Alright, so I'm going to show you really quickly how you can report on these 3 different websites. The first will be the FBI website, ic3.gov, and what you need to do there. You'll come on over, click on where it says file a complaint. It'll take you to this where it asks you what type of crime you want to report. So you want to go to the first one, which is ic3.gov. And then here it will give you instructions on how to file a complaint. You click on I accept, and then it'll ask you for a lot of information like victim information, financial transactions that may have happened. They'll ask you for the description of the incident, where I think you should be as thorough as possible. It'll also ask you the means by which the scammer communicated with you. And also at the end here, it says information about the person who victimized you, aka the scammer. It'll also allow you to input other information that you feel might be pertinent to the case, and asks who is filing the complaint. And last but not least, it asks you for your information to be able to submit. Now let's head on over to the FTC website, where we can go over to this section that says take action and report fraud to the FTC. Once you click on that, it'll bring you to this landing page. This is a very important page. It'll really educate you on how you can report information to the FTC. So you can go ahead and click on the part where it says report now, and it'll ask, is your report about any of these common problems? And say an impersonator, online shopping, jobs, money making opportunity, sweepstakes, prize, lottery, lots of different things that will be on there. Now obviously we know these people are impersonating government officials or other types of businesses. So you click on that, and then it'll ask you there, what were they pretending to be? So you go ahead and click on whichever one it was, and then it'll ask you for report details that you can fill out there as well. And much like the FBI site, it'll ask you for whether or not you sent the scammer money. It'll also ask you details about the company or the scammer, and also any pertinent comments that you feel may be helpful to the case. Now let's head on over to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre website, where you'll go down and click on the section where it says report fraud. Once you click on that, it'll also give you some instructions on basically what's going on with regards to being able to report the scams. Now at this point we have a couple of options. You can either report it by phone or online here through clicking this link right here. Then it'll ask you to sign in. If you're Canadian, you'll have to do this to be able to report it. So of course make sure you check the description for a link to all these websites. You can also submit a complaint to the CFPB in the United States. Only do this if you feel like the financial institution that you're reporting the information to isn't really doing anything. It helps us keep these financial institutions accountable, especially when fraud is being committed under their noses. These are some of the ways that you can help report fraudulent and scam bank account information to divert the effectiveness of the scammers. The more stumbling blocks we place on them, the more efficient we as a community can be in helping slow them down. If you found the information helpful, please make sure you share it. Remember, each one teach one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!